Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to the Ministry of Education and Partners COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program. The Ministry of Education and Partners COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program is a 30-minute radio intervention support program that is meant to provide continuous instruction to keep you academically engaged during this stay-at-home period, as well as preparing you, our 6th, 9th, and 12th graders for the pending Liberia Primary School Certificate Exam, Liberia Junior High School Certificate Exam, and West Africa Senior Secondary Certificate Exam when the time comes. Also, in addition to this academic support, the program is meant to provide psychosocial support for learners, teachers, and parents, and also tips on how you as parents and teachers can provide support to your students and children at home. Now, let's join our teacher for today's lesson.
Hello, learners, parents, and teachers. I am Dr. Solomon K. Chapa. I am from the Cardinal University Graduate School and the Monrovia Bible College. I am your radio teacher for this lesson. And this is the Ministry of Education and Partner COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program for you, our beloved learners, teachers of the Republic of Liberia. Welcome. Our subject today is Social Study for students of grade 7 and 8, and the topic is kinds of marriages. Please get your notebooks, pens, and pencil, and let's prepare to listen and learn. First, let us look at our objectives for the lesson today, what we hope to achieve at the end of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to define marriage, give the cultural, social, and religious meaning of marriage, name and give examples of each types of marriage. My name is Dr. Solomon K. Chapa, and this is your grade 7 and 8 social study class. Today we are discussing kinds of marriages. What is a marriage, or what is marriage? Marriage is the state of being united to a person of the opposite sex as husband or wife in a contractual relationship recognized by law. So when two people, men and a woman, they come together to live together in a lifetime relationship, and that relationship is recognized by the law of the country, that is a marriage. Let us also look at some definition of marriage, first from the cultural perspective. Culturally, marriage, which is also called matrimony or wedlock, is a culturally recognized union between people that are called spouses that established rights and obligations between them, as well as between them and their children, and between them and their in-law. So when two people come together and they establish obligation, what each person is supposed to do, what will be the right of each person in the relationship, and also between they and their children, what will be the responsibility or the obligation of the children and their in-laws, the mother, the father, the aunt, the uncle, and whosoever. Then we also have the social definition of marriage. Socially, marriage is a socially supported union involving two or more individuals in what is regarded as a stable, enduring arrangement based at least in part on sexual bond of some kind. Now, we said socially involved two or more individuals. Like in some cases, it is not only one man, one wife, but a man may have two or more wives. Religiously, marriage is an intimate and complementing union between a man and a woman in which the two become one physically in the whole of life. And the purpose of this is to reflect the image of God instituted marriage in the Garden of Eden. Now let us look at the difference between civil marriage and traditional marriage. A civil marriage is simply one where the marriage ceremony has a government or civil official performing the ceremony. It takes place without any religious affiliation and meets the legal requirement of the state or the location of the wedding. That is civil marriage. When government official, it could be a lawyer, it could be a judge, when they are invited to perform that wedding, and certificate is given to the individual by the state, that is considered a civil marriage. Traditional marriage, on the other hand, is a marriage in accordance with the classical norm of the given culture, generally for the main reason of establishing a family unit. So traditional marriage actually, it has to be done according to the norms, the rules, and practices of the culture in which you find yourself. It is a marriage of wife and husband wherein the husband is the main or only breadwinner, and the wife is merely or totally accountable for keeping up the household and managing care of children. That is traditional marriage. In some cases, the wife is just there to take care of the home, while the husband is the one working to win bread for the family. But there are rules that people have to follow when they are getting married. There's no society that gives absolute freedom to its members to select their partner. There are two rules in marriage that we want to discuss here. One is endogamy rule of marriage. Endogamy is spelled Endogamy. Endogamy. It is a rule of marriage in which the life partners are to be selected within the group. It is a marriage within the group, and the group may be a caste. Now, when someone is allowed to marry just in the group that he or she belongs to, like a caste. Now, what is a caste? Caste means a group of persons set apart by economic, social, religious, legal, or political criteria, such as occupation, status, religious denomination, legal privilege, skin color, or some other physical characteristic. For example, when you talk about color, maybe you are a black man and you are not allowed to marry. You are allowed to marry to a white woman, or the black man, you are allowed to marry to a black woman. Or probably you belong to a certain religion and you are not allowed to marry to someone that is coming from a different religion. For example, you are a Christian, you are not allowed to marry to a Muslim, or a Muslim is not allowed to marry to a Christian. So members of a caste tend to associate among themselves and rarely marry outside the caste. So that is endogamy. You must marry to somebody either from your tribe or from your race. A white must not marry to a black. When it comes to tribe, for example, in Liberia, we got different tribes in Liberia. And probably the crewman may not be allowed to marry to a Bassa woman, a crew woman, and probably a religious group, which we already talked about. That is an example of endogamy root of marriage. Then we have the other root of marriage, which is the exogamy, Exogamy. It is a root of marriage in which an individual has to marry outside his own group. It prohibits marrying within the group. The so-called blood relative shall neither have marital connection nor sexual contract among themselves. So exogamy now, ex, that is outside, and endo is inside. So exogamy marriage, root of marriage, is that you are allowed to marry outside of your group. You are not compared to marry to somebody from your tribe or of your color or probably your status, your religious group. You can marry outside. You may be a Christian, you can choose to marry to a Muslim. A Muslim can marry to a Christian or any other religion for that matter. You are listening to COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program, and this is Grade 7 and 8 Social Studies. Our topic is kinds of marriages. I am your teacher, Dr. Solomon K. Chapa, and now we get back to our lesson. Now let's look at kinds of marriages. and we want to look at two major kinds of marriages. We'll discuss other components of those marriages. The first one we want to look at is what we call monogamous marriage or monogamy. It's spelled M-O-N-O-G-A-M-O-U-S or M-O-N-O-G-A-M-Y. Monogamy is a form of marriage in which one man marries one woman. It is the most common form of marriage found among societies around the world. The monogamy is universally practiced, providing marital opportunity and satisfaction to all the individuals. That is, one man, one wife. Mono means one, and game means married. So monogamy marriage is the one man, one wife type of marriage. Now, let's look at the advantages of monogamy marriage. Monogamy marriage promotes love and affection between the husband and the wife, because there's no third party in the marriage. So the two persons in that relationship, the husband and the wife, they are bound together. There's love and affection. It also contributes to family peace. In monogamy marriage, the family will be at peace. Once there is no other relationship, the two people will be at peace. There will be solidarity. There will be happiness. Monogamy marriage is stable and long-lasting. It can last because there's no interference in that marriage. In the monogamy marriage, there is a greater likelihood of the couple playing a more involved and decisive role in child rearing. Now, the two of them will work together to bring their children up because it is just one man and one wife. So the two of them will combine. They will have the understanding to bring their children up without distraction. But monogamy has different types. There are two types of monogamous marriage. One is serial monogamy. Serial is S-E-R-I-A-L, serial monogamy. In many societies, individuals are permitted to marry again often and on the death of the first spouse or after divorce, but they cannot have more than one spouse at one and the same time. So serial monogamy means you can marry, when you marry and your wife died, you can marry to another woman, or if your wife divorced you or you divorce your wife, you can marry to another woman, but you cannot marry to two women at the same time, but the person died, you can go ahead and marry again. So you can marry 2-3 times, but it cannot be the same time, but one after the other, depending if it is when death occurs in the family or when there is divorce. That is called serial monogamy. Then we have what we call strict monogamy. In strict monogamy, the remarriage of the individual is not allowed. You are not allowed to do a remarriage in the strict monogamy type of marriage. Now, the term monogamy may be referring to one of various relational types, depending upon the context. So there are 4 overlapping definitions of monogamy. We have marital monogamy, which refers to marriages of only 2 people. We call that marital monogamy. Let's take a short COVID-19 health break.
Coronavirus spreads via droplets. When the person coughs or sneezes, the droplets land on surfaces and are picked up on the hands of others and spread further. People catch the virus when they touch their infected hands to their mouth, nose, or eyes. It follows that the single most important thing you can do to protect yourself is keep your hands clean by washing them frequently with soap and water or hand sanitizer.
Welcome back, learners. Then we have social monogamy, which refer to 2 partners living together, having sex with each other, and cooperating acquiring basic resources such as shelter, food, and money. Now, the two of them are living together, but actually, the marriage there is not legal, but it's a social relationship. They live together, they do everything together, they look for money, they have a shelter together, and they are living in one house. You are listening to COVID-19 Teaching by Radio program, and this is Grade 7 and 8 Social Study. Our topic is kinds of marriages. I am your teacher, Dr. Solomon K. Chapa, and now back to our lesson. We want to look at the second type of marriage, which is polygamy. First, we discuss monogamy, which is married by two people, a woman and a man, a husband and a wife. But what is polygamy? Polygamy is the art of marrying multiple spouses. That means having more than one husband or wife at the same time. Here we say marrying to more than one husband or more than one wife. We are going to discuss the different type of polygamy. There's in some cases where a woman can marry to more than one husband and a man can marry to more than one wife. In our society, we are used to, or we are aware of men marrying to more than one wife, but in some society, some wives are allowed to marry to more than one husband. Now let us look at the different type of polygamy. One of the type of polygamy is what we call polygyny. P-O-L-Y-G-Y-N-Y, polygyny. Polygyny is a form of marriage in which one man marries more than one woman at a given time. Polygyny is more popular than polyandry, but not as universal as monogamy. So you see, polygyny is more popular. Polyandry, which we'll discuss later on, is not popular as polygyny or monogamy. Now, polygyny is of two types. We have what we call sororal polygyny. Sororal is spelled S-O-R-O-R-A-L, sororal polygyny. Sororal polygyny is a type of marriage in which the wives are invariably the sisters. It is often called sororate, S-O-R-O-R-A-T-E, sororate. The Latin word soror stands for sister, while several sisters are simultaneously or potentially the spouses of the same man. The practice is called sororate. It is usually observed in those tribes that paid a high bride price. Now, the sororal polygyny is a type of marriage where two or more sisters can marry to one man. Mean two or more blood sisters from the same father, from the same mother, can marry to one man. That is called sororal polygyny. Then we have non-sororal polygyny. It is a type of marriage in which the wives are not related as the sisters. So non-sororal, a man can have several wives, but those wives are not related. They are not related as compared to the sororal polygyny, where several sisters can marry to one man. So we have under polygamy, we have polygyny, sororal polygyny, and we have non-sororal polygyny. Now let us look at polyandry. Polyandry is spelled P-O-L-Y-A-N-D-R-A-Y. P-O-L-Y-A-N-D-R-Y. Polyandry is the marriage of one woman with several men. When one woman married to several men, that is called polyandry. It's a kind of a polygamy marriage. Polygyny is a man marrying to several wives, and sometimes he can marry to wife from the same mother's sisters. But polyandry is the opposite of polygamy. Polyandry, a woman marrying to several men. There are two kinds of polyandry. We have what we call fraternal polyandry. When several brothers share the same wife, the practice is called fraternal polyandry. This practice of being made actual or potential to one husband brother is called levirate. Now, fraternal polyandry, several brothers can marry to one wife. The wife belongs to all of the brothers, and there is no one person who will have absolute control over that one wife. That is fraternal polyandry. Then we have non-fraternal polyandry. In this type, the husband need not have any close relationship prior to the marriage. The wife goes to spend some time with each husband, so long as the woman lives with one of her husband, the other have no claim over her. Now, what this is saying is the woman is not marrying to the same brothers, but she can marry to men from different background. And those husbands have no claim. If the woman decides that I want to spend time with this man, the rest of the men, maybe she married to 5 men, and the rest of the men, if she's spending to one, the rest of the men don't have claim over her. They can't go and claim her because each person have equal right. So it is the woman can choose to go and sleep with any of them or to spend time with any of those men that she married to. Polyandry has its own implication. It gives rise to the problem of determining biological paternity of the child. Now, what is this saying? It is difficult to tell if a lady give birth, a lady who married in the non-fraternal polyandry situation, if a woman is pregnant, it is difficult to determine which of the men the child belongs to, because she has been sleeping with all of the men, and if she gets pregnant, it is kind of hard to determine or who will claim the child that she gave birth to. That's the type of marriages that we have in our society today. Some of these marriages are not common in our own Liberian society. What is common is the polygamy, where the man married to several wives. And but when it comes to polyandry, we don't see that happening. It may be practiced by some tribe, but it's not a common practice in our own society in Liberia. Another type of marriage we have is what we call the common law marriage. A common law marriage is one in which the couple lives together for a period of time and hold themselves out to friends, families, and the community as being married, but without ever going through a formal ceremony or getting a marriage license. Now, that is called common law marriage. The two persons, a man and a woman, will live together, and they will inform their relatives, their friends, and even the community that they are married. But actually, they do not have any legal document to prove that they are married. They have not gone through a ceremony. They do not have a marriage license. But because they are living together, they do everything together. They will tell people that they are married. Let's try to recap our lesson for today on the type of marriages that we discussed today. We discussed monogamy marriage, which is a form of marriage in which one man marries one woman. And under that, we discussed the advantages. We said monogamy marriage can promote love and affection between the husband and the wife, and there's always peace in the marriage. There's no conflict. Attention is given to each partner in the marriage, and the both of them work together to bring their children up. We also discussed the type of monogamy marriage, which is serial marriage, where a person can marry several times, one partner after the other. If the partner died, you can remarry, or if there's divorce, you can remarry. We also discussed straight marriage, where remarrying is prohibited or it is not allowed. Then we also discussed polygamy. Polygamy, we say, is the act of marrying multiple spouses, meaning a man having more than one wife. Then under the polygamy, we discuss the two types of polygamy. One is polygamy, which is a form in which one man marries more than one woman. The polygamy has two types as well. We have the sorora, where a man can marry to several sisters. Two or more sisters can be his wife. Then we have the non-sorora, where a man can marry to people who are not related, who are not sisters. We also have polyandry, and polyandry is a marriage of a woman with several men, a single woman marrying to several men. We have the fraternal, meaning a wife can marry to several brothers. Then we have the non-fraternal, where you can marry to several men who are not related, who don't have any relationship. Then lastly, we talk about common law marriage, where two people live together without a formal ceremony or marriage license, but they're presenting themselves to people, their friends, their family, and the community as being married couple. So Leonard, my time spent with you was enjoyable, and I hope you have a wonderful time listening. You can listen to more of these lessons on the following station: True FM 96.1, ELBC 99.9, ELUM 98.7, Hot FM 107.9, Cool FM 91.9, ECOWAS Radio 91.5, Kings FM 88.5, Freedom FM 87.9, OK FM 99.5, City FM 90.2. You can also follow us on community radio stations across the country. If you have any question or need clarification on today's lesson, please text it to the following numbers: 0555 811309, 0886 562545. As I leave you, please remember to wash your hands with soap and water, observe social distancing, wear your nose mask or face shield in public places. Stay home and stay safe. Bye for now.